Welcome to Shoujo, the podcast where I, Sarah, introduce my good friend Joe to Shoujo anime, a genre of anime typically targeting younger girls and, typically more soft and feelings and all that crap. So yeah, I'm Sarah and Joe. Have at it.
Yeah, hi. I'm Joe. I'm like super hopped up on sugar right now because I just ate. So there's like there's a Tim Hortons near me, which is like a fast food breakfast place in the north. It's from Canada, and I have the app because it's like really nearby, and I'll just like get stuff in the mornings because I'm like I don't want to make stuff in the mornings on the weekends. It's the weekend, and they usually have a special where you can get like half a dozen donuts, and it's like half off or something. So I'll just do that randomly because I'm like, yeah, that's fun. Because you order it through the app, you don't get to pick which donuts you like.
Oh.
And so it's like it's like a fun like Russian roulette for me. Yeah. It's like, ooh, what am I gonna get? Like, what are they gonna give me? Which is like a really bad game for me because I only like 3 of the type of donuts they have, and they have like 10 different types. So it's like I like half of them. I'm like, I don't know if I'm really gonna eat these.
Oh no.
I'll just take a few bites and throw it out.
Well, if they were all your favorite, would you eat 10 donuts in one sitting?
I mean, no.
No.
I just ate like 1.5, and I'm like, oh, I'm ready to talk about some
crazy
stuff. So
yeah,
that's right.
Oh boy, yeah, I'm kind of jittery as well, just because. I don't know, before starting, it was a little bit of a disaster morning.
Oh.
Like, my mic wasn't plugged in, and so I had to like run around and do a few things. And I have freaking devastating news.
Okay.
Like, God, it ruined my morning. My favorite Love Island recap podcast is ending.
Why?
I think they just felt like kind of pressured, or like it wasn't as fun anymore. So that made me sad because I like listening to them.
Oh.
And that's a second time I love Love Island podcast I listened to. So now I'm gonna have to move on to the third one. Hopefully third time's the charm.
You have like a third
No,
string?
Not yet. I gotta find one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
Do you think they're gonna do anything else? Like they're gonna like
I don't
transition to some other show or something?
Maybe. Well, because it's weird because they had like I was a patron on Patreon, and they had a Discord, and then once I saw on Instagram they posted it, I looked and saw that the Discord was gone, and I was like, oh, this all happened so abruptly.
They're closing down shop.
Yeah.
Dang.
So that's a bummer.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to start the next Love Island recap podcast. Take on
us?
the mantle.
Yeah, sure. I can talk about Love Island, a show I've never seen.
Oh God. I mean, I think you'd be a pretty great reactor. Just anyone totally disinterested and disbelieve that people act like that. But
they fall in love on an island. I can't imagine falling in love on an island.
It's more so for the sake of getting followers on Instagram that people go on the show.
They're all sellouts.
Yes, but the feast for the eyes. Everyone's so pretty.
I guess so.
Yeah. Good. Yep. Okay, so that's been this morning.
That's been this morning. Well, have you been watching anything good? Or do you have more updates to provide before we get into that?
No. Yeah, I was gonna say that I started watching Shogun, that Hulu series.
Oh, is that
I've
good?
watched the first. Good. It's got like a 10 rating on IGN or something.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so far it's good. I feel like because it's more political, you might like it more than me. That's the part that I'm like, snooze. But
let's go.
I mean, it's nice to see like a high budget, polished feudal Japan show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's made by FX, right? I was kind of surprised by that. Although FX makes some good stuff.
I haven't really watched any. Because there's like some feudal Japan zombie show that was big a few years ago, I feel like.
What?
Yeah, what was that called?
I've never heard of this.
No? What was it called?
No. There were zombies?
Like it wasn't American made. Yeah, it was, or some kind of monster thing. God, what was it called? It's gonna bother me. I'll probably come up with it at some point. I never watched it. I just remember seeing it a lot. That's gonna slowly eat away at
Haunted
me.
forever.
Yes. Okay. Anyways, and then the other thing I've been watching is on Amazon Prime. I started watching the K-drama version of this webtoon I had finished called Marry My Husband. And it was the first kind of like revenge plot webcomic I'd read. But it's kind of satisfying, like, 'cause I'm a petty bitch, so I would definitely be the same, where I'd be like sabotaging the people who like ruined my life and before they killed me, and then I was reincarnated or went back in time.
Okay, wait. What is the plot of this?
So this chick, her husband, she's sick, like with cancer or something, and she finds out her husband and her best friend are sleeping together, and then when she finds out, they kill her, and then she goes back 10 years in time, back to before they got married and stuff. So now she's trying to twist it so that the friend marries him instead of her, but the friend only wants him because she's like jealous of the protagonist and wants to kind of ruin all the things she wants. / office worker setting, I guess.
Okay, this is like, all right. It's hard for me to conceptualize what this is, but
Marry My Husband is what it's called. It's just like, yeah, take that, bastard. I know what you're gonna do to me. She's 10 years in the past, so she manipulates things like stocks because she knows what's gonna sell well and not, so she sets herself up for success. And then
so she's doing Back to the Future. So it's like Back to the Future,
but like you don't care about morals of it. Yeah.
Well, I don't think Back to the Future is really about morals either.
I mean, because they're like, you can't mess up the timeline and blah, blah, blah. But she doesn't care about, like, because then, yeah, when they go to the future and Marty's like, ooh, so-and-so won the big game. I want to bet on that, whatever. But then it's like, no, that's wrong.
I don't think it's that so much. It's more of like, he does it, like every time he changes something, he like erases his own existence. So he's like, I should not do that.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
It's more of like direct consequences for, I don't think it's like the perils of changing the past.
That's okay. I guess that's true. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. How about you?
I watched first 4 episodes of the live action Avatar series.
Jeez. Okay, yes, please tell us
time.
all your thoughts. I've been waiting for this.
It's bad. Like, it is both bad in terms of it is not a good retelling of the story, and it's also bad in terms of, like, it isn't just, like, a good show normally, either. Because... yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's at least better than the movie live action, right?
Okay, and people keep saying that. Like, it's like better than the worst movie I've ever seen. Cool. Like, that means nothing to me. Like, who cares? Of course it's better than that movie. That movie's terrible. It's like one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I know. I keep getting Avatar stuff in my feed now. So yeah, I saw like, oh, it's so bad. So cringe.
It's bad. Like, the reason why it's bad, I mean, you know, and I'm not just doing like, oh, it's not as good as the original, because like it was never going to be as good as the original. Nope. Because the original is animated and the whole part of the show is to show how cool bending is, which you can't do if you have a CGI budget that's limited. But the affordances of what live action does for you, right, is like, okay, yeah, obviously you can't do special effects as easily as you can in animation because it's all the same in animation and it's not all the same. But what you can do in live action is like do character drama, right? Your actors can emote, they can like do more stuff, they can do more like physical movement stuff, you know, that is easier to convey in a live action sense than it is in an animated sense, you know, usually, right? But they don't do that. They don't really play anything up for drama because the show can't decide if it just wants to like check a bunch of tick boxes of like scenes from the original show you want to see versus actually doing real drama for like a show that it's making. Like it doesn't do its own thing. It's trying to recreate the show so hard, but it has to make all of these changes because of time, even though the time, like the total runtime is almost the same.
Yeah.
In the live action and the cartoon. But they do a lot of shortening. Like, they cut some stuff out. They, like, combine some things. And, like, some of it's in ways that I think are actually interesting.
Yeah, no spoilers, but
I'm going to now.
Oh, okay.
I think we should, like, I guess, should we not? I'll say some non-spoiler stuff, and then I'll say some spoiler stuff. How about that?
Okay.
The main problem the show has is it just thinks its audience is kind of too stupid to like understand drama. Like the original show has all of these reveals and stuff happens out of order. Like you get the backstory stuff later in the original show of like what happened, why was the Avatar gone for so long, and that happens in like episode, you know, like 3, 4, and 5, like that kind of thing after the first couple episodes. The live action show just shows you it immediately. It gives you everything in chronological order. So there's no drama, or there's no reveals of these things, or there's no, like, I wonder why Aang's acting this way. He seems a little on edge about this thing. And I don't know why they do that. There's no benefit to doing it that way. It just kind of seems like they think the audience is too stupid to, like, live with ambiguity for 10 minutes in a show plot that was made for children. It's super bizarre that they just really don't.
Yeah, because in the original, it's kind of like get to know the characters first so that you care about what happened to them because you're a kid and you can't, I don't know, your attention span's small, but somehow they managed to pack like so much meaningful stuff in a 20-minute episode of the anime. It's like, it's so good. And I just hope that more people who maybe only have seen the live action will go back and watch the original. Because that's what it made me do. I just wanted to watch the original after watching it.
That is what I'm doing. Like, I started doing that after this, and I'm like, yeah, they, like, you know, you can do much faster paced stuff in animation, I think, because it's just not as jarring to, like, scene transition.
Yeah.
But also, it's like,
because there's bizarre mashups of episodes, like not even from season 1, I think that happened. Or like,
yeah, they include.
I mean, I guess they manipulate the episode order kind of based on what works for whatever they're trying to get at for that episode. Like they mashed Omashu and Jet together. Oh wait, no. Have you gone to that part yet?
Yeah, I've gotten to that part.
Okay.
Should we just talk about spoilers at this point? We're gonna talk about spoilers for a little bit now.
It is based off a show that's been around for a long time.
Watch the show. Just go and watch the cartoon show, and then, I don't know, you don't have to watch this. Just listen to like a recap of someone else watching this.
Yeah, actually, watch Avatar, the first viewing, the Avatar recap series that I listened to, that I had Joe listen to their coverage of the first live action episode.
I think they're pretty generous.
Yeah.
I mean, their critique is that, like, the child actors are not that good, which, like, yeah, I guess so, but, like, the writing is so bad all around it that, like, I don't think if they were better actors, it would really do that much. And I think some of them are good actors. Like, I think the guy who plays Zuko does a really good job.
Yeah, he was good.
But it doesn't save the rest. Also, the Azula stuff is very good. Like, I like that it's just, like, Mean Girls Azula.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Rules.
I don't know. Her character isn't as severe looking, like, at first glance.
Because she looks like a child.
Yeah, so I guess that's true. I mean, it was cool. I guess Azula is such an iconic character, they wanted to throw her in as soon as possible. Because we don't see her until season 2 of the animated series.
Yeah, they just want to cram-pack everything that you remember, like, into the first thing.
I guess because they don't know if they're going to make a second season or not.
Well, yeah, of course, because it's bad. They know they're making a bad show. I can't imagine they, like, know that they think it's, like, actually up to par. Yeah, okay, so spoiler stuff, right? Why does it start, like, it starts off with all of the stuff that's interesting reveals later on. It's like, oh, all the airbenders got wiped out by the Fire Nation. The Fire Nation used the comet, which gave them special powers to wipe them all out. That's, like, in the first opening. Those things are treated like interesting reveals or, like, interesting, you know, confounders of, like, the plot in the show, and it's just like, it's all here. Nothing is ambiguous.
I guess because it's more like referred to in glimpses of, but we don't see it fully play out what happens to the air nomads within the animated series, mostly because probably you don't want to show the slaughter of an entire culture on a Nickelodeon show.
It's also, I think, really stupid in the live action because they make it seem like they did it all in one day. All the airbenders got together in one place, and then the Fire Nation showed up and killed them all. Oh no! And it's just like, that's not what happened in the original show, because that's, like, ridiculous that, like, oh, all of the people of an entire nation got together in the same room and then died. And it also happens, like, the exact night of, so it kind of seems like if Aang was there, he would have just died. So it's like, it's actually a good thing you got lost at sea. We're in the show, it's way more ambiguous. They don't even tell you when it happens.
Well, it makes sense because it all happened 100 years ago in a world where there's no, like, widespread knowledge sharing, that they wouldn't know that much about it. That's what makes sense. Right,
but it's like everybody in the show gets mad at him, like, oh, you were gone for 100 years and now we're all, like, everything's all bad. You need to take responsibility for not being there. But, like, in the live action, it is, like, made crystal clear that if he was there, he would have just died pointlessly. Like, he wouldn't have been able to do anything.
They wouldn't have killed him. They would have captured him, because if they kill him, then he gets reincarnated to the next one, which we know from Korra is water.
Yeah, he'd be sitting in a jail cell somewhere. How is that a better outcome? It's it's ridiculous. It's like, this is the thing that I think is dumb. The entire pitch of this show is like, oh, we want to make a live action Avatar that's like a little bit more like adult and sophisticated, a little bit like we want to appeal to the Game of Thrones crowd. And what they did is they made a show for dumbasses that like can't follow a children's plot. Like, they dumbed down the plot of a children's cartoon to make it appeal to Game of Thrones watchers. And it's like, the whole interesting thing about Game of Thrones is these really complex alliances and plots and character motivations and all this other stuff. And they just like made this even more dumbed down than like it was in the children's format. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, do they really think their audience is this stupid and can't follow plots? Like, they actually just think you're an idiot. I don't know. It really feels like TV execs looked at Game of Thrones and they thought, oh, the thing people like about this is the hyper-violence and the sex. And not any of the other actually interesting things about Game of Thrones. It seems like they really just don't understand why anybody likes that show. So they're just like, what if we put hyper-violence, and I guess there isn't any like sex in it, although Jet is. I will say, Jet is extremely hot. Yeah. He looks terrible when he's in costume, like the Jet costume, but he looks great when he's just like a normal guy.
He's handsome.
This is a show with a lot of hot guys. Daniel Day Kim's in it as the Fire Lord. He's hot.
Yeah. Okay, I don't like who they cast for Iroh. He's not funny enough. But I know he's from Kim's Convenience, which I know is a comedy show that I haven't really watched much of. But because Iroh doesn't even in the animated series, in the first season, he didn't have that much screen time. But whenever he was on screen, he was able to just with a few words endear himself to all viewers.
Well, in the original show, like in season 1, Iroh is very much like a guy who doesn't really want to be there. He's like in exile with his nephew. His whole thing is like, listen, Zuko, your dad sent you out here to die. Like, nobody is expecting you to succeed. I don't think we should be like really taking this, like we should just go hang out somewhere and try to forget the fact that we live on this planet. Yeah. That's like his entire vibe. So he's like very chill, you know, and that's why he's fun. And like, that's why he gets to be funny, is because he's like not... You know, he's able to read the actual political situation, and he's like, yeah, we're all kind of screwed, man. Like, I don't know. I
think you're gonna be disappointed in me, Joe.
Okay.
Have you seen the part where it's like Iroh's kid's funeral and stuff? That part of
yes.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I did tear up a little just because the song they played in the background is the same one from the Tales of Ba Sing Se episode of the animated series that I bawl my eyes out every time it plays, where he starts singing at his son's grave, and It got me a little.
That makes sense, because that is like the best scene in the whole show. Like the part where the part where they add these like scenes, these like quieter scenes between characters, or even like the part where Iroh gets captured and like the guard is like, oh, you laid siege, like my brother died in the siege of Ba Sing Se that you unleashed. Like, how do you feel about that? And he like kind of gives this somewhat wishy-washy answer. I think that stuff is good. Like, I think that's the stuff you can add to like make it a more mature show, where it's like you really engage with like people's feelings and like the consequences and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
All the stuff they add that isn't anything is usually pretty good. And everything they try to recreate is some of the worst things I've ever seen.
I don't like what they did to Sokka. One, he's too serious. Two, he's like, I don't know, not womanizing, but like that's all that's on the mind for him, seemingly. He's not that funny.
He's not that funny. The humor takes a big hit.
Yes.
Like, I like Sokka in this. Like, I think he does a good job.
Because I feel like looking at him, he looks the part. I think it's just like in the animated series, season 1 is kind of, he's like a little belittling to women, and he like gets schooled by Suki and learns that lesson from her. But in this, I mean, yeah, he's just no fun.
Yeah, they really, like, it's a much less joyful show.
Yes.
Like, Aang isn't very fun, Katara isn't very fun, like...
No.
I like Sokka in this, like, I feel like the actor's doing a pretty good job and, like, does the voice really good and all of this stuff, but, like, he can only be sarcastic in, like, a wry way, and that's, like, the most humor we get out of it. It's, like, really pathetic in terms of, like, the comedy chops the show is trying to have.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem, trying to make it a more serious version, but...
That's what I'm saying.
It's a children's show. Make it
they
fun.
made it less sophisticated, and they made it less funny, and they're like, now it's mature. Like, do they just think mature stuff sucks? It's not good. Like, even in the first episode.
You see what I was talking about with the cringe at the airbending in the first episode? Ugh.
Okay, that's pretty bad. That does look bad.
Awful.
But also, like, you can't even... Like, Aang is sad that he's going to be the Avatar because he doesn't want to be the Avatar because he just wants to hang out with his friends. But in the cartoon, they showed him hanging out with his friends, so I, like, could believe that he wanted that. In the show, you don't see him hang out with anybody. He has to tell you that he hangs out with his friends. They don't show you anything on this TV show. And also, in the original, in the original cartoon, it's like a reveal that Aang delivers when Zuko goes and attacks the Southern Water Tribe. But he's like, I'm the Avatar. If I go with you, I can leave. Like, will you leave all these people alone? And that's a reveal to everybody else but Aang, right? Like nobody else knows that he's the Avatar at that point. So it makes sense as like a dramatic reveal that I'm gonna help you guys out. In this, like, Grand recognizes he's the Avatar immediately. And then they get attacked, and then he doesn't give himself up. He, like, runs away, and then he comes back later because he feels bad. But that's, like, an entirely different thing, because this isn't him doing, like, a selfless act. This is like well, they're all here for you, and we know you're here, but you're gonna run away. He just seems, like, way more cowardly, and, like, it's not a reveal. It's not dramatic. There's no ambiguity ever.
Did you like the part where Grand word for word just reads off the actual intro from the animated series off a scroll?
I, like, had to I was watching this with my friends. I had to, like, stand up and, like, walk across the room because I'm like, I can't believe this. I can't believe you made this poor actress read this out to say these words.
Yeah. What? Okay, well, are there any good parts? Like, I feel like the casting was pretty good. I feel like everything, like, wardrobe and set-wise looked good. It's mostly just the script, I guess.
Here are my top things. Number one, that scene at Uncle's funeral, or his kid's funeral. That was really good. Number two, Jet's hot.
Yeah.
Number three, I kind of like that they make Suki a little weirdo and doesn't know how to flirt with anybody because she, like, lives on this secluded island. I think that's pretty funny. Like, it still comes off as weird because I think it's, like, really awkward in, like, terms of, like, how it's shot.
Yeah, it makes sense if she's just been training and her mom is so stoic that she doesn't have those people skills as much, especially with boys.
Aang's, what's his name? Aang's master? Monk Gyatso owns. He's really good in this. He had a lot of time with him. Yes. He's great.
Yeah, he did do a good job.
I mean, I like the Azula Mean Girls. You see,
I do like that. Yeah, the trio. They all look so cool.
They're the only dialogue I feel like sounds natural. Their dialogue sounds natural.
That's because you're just a mean girl on the inside, and that's all you know, right. And that's what you identify with.
Who's the guy that plays Zhao? Zhao's really good. I like all the Zhao stuff. I like how that he has to, like, they have to work with Zhao for a little bit. I think that's pretty fun.
Oh, yeah, he did do a good job depicting him, yeah.
It's one of these things where, like, everybody talks about, like, oh, here's all the stuff that's bad, but it's, like, an okay show. Like, it's not an okay show. It's worse than a regular show. Just watch a regular show.
I think it's just because we're so deprived, because Avatar is so beloved, and we just don't get enough of it. Like, I mean, they've made comics, they've made books, they made Legend of Korra, but, like, it's such a cool universe that, you know, similar to Star Wars, where Star Wars is just cranking out so much content that's kind of diluting it. But with Avatar, we're so deprived of anything that we're grateful for whatever bone they'll throw our way.
Yeah, but, like, just, like, watch the Dragon Prince. Like, there's other stuff that does the things that Avatar does. Like, figure out the things you actually like about it, and then find that stuff elsewhere. Like, I don't think you need to stick around with a franchise that's, like, just gonna spin its wheels forever, or that made a thing that sucks because it's, like, with the franchise you like.
I think the as I said last time, the original creators of the show were originally on it and left, and I feel like I've seen that there's discussion that they're going to work on a different one somewhere else.
Yeah, they have a studio.
Oh boy, what a mess. What a mess. I guess we'll end that there so this doesn't become an Avatar bashing episode.
But I think this goes to a larger thing.
Justifiable.
But this does tie in. Here's how the tie-in works.
Okay, let's hear it.
People think that anything animated is for children and is, like, unsophisticated and dumb, right? Which I feel like is the same way people talk, or, like, you know, the attitudes, at least in terms of, like, TV execs or whatever, have around shoujo stuff. And that's why it doesn't get adapted in the same way that shonen stuff does.
Yeah.
But we take it seriously here on the Shoujo podcast.
Dead
we don't
serious.
think that taking away humor and and making the plot easier to follow is mature, more sophisticated.
Whoever said that's what we wanted to begin with. Avatar is lighthearted, and that's what we wanted and did not get. Angelic Layer, I was thinking as I was watching it this morning again. As a kid, I don't remember what it was that I liked the most about it, but now I'm just like, oh, it's all the fighting is awesome. But I don't think that's what I connected with as a kid watching it.
It's because it's funny. It's like a fun show. People have fun.
I don't even think it's like a humorous show, but it's a world I want to be real and want to be in so badly.
Yeah, Angelic Layer is pretty good. Maybe we should talk about that.
Yeah, let's do that. That's what we're all here for, right?
That's what we're here for. That's what the people have arrived here for. Not 30 minutes of me talking about why the live action Avatar is like for babies.
Yeah, I guess today we're going to start off with Joe's recap of episode 7 of Angelic Layer. Yeah, so walk us through that.
Pretty good episodes, I think.
They're definitely different.
Yeah, change of pace.
Like, because I wouldn't say as much plot happens.
Well, these are like the episodic ones, right? These are like they could happen anywhere in the series, kind of. Well, I guess the first one, because the first one, Angelic Layer episode 7, is called Fight to the Limit, Misaki's Last Chance. We open on a flashback of some girl we've never seen before talking to her mother. We learn her name is Maria, and her mother is telling her that she can't play outside with her friends because she needs to take care of her sick little brother since both her parents work. Maria sadly agrees, and her mom compliments her on being so mature. We then cut back to the present, where a now teenage Maria is in the Angelic Layer tournament with her little brother. Elsewhere, Ichan and Misaki are repairing Hikaru. Tamayo and Kataru run up to Misaki and tell her that her last match is soon, and Misaki turns to introduce her friends to Ichan, but he's nowhere to be seen because they can never be in the same camera shot together. Back in the arena, Maria sees some guy bump into her little brother, so she trips him as he walks past, and he like spills his drink everywhere. It's pretty good. Two of the spectator girls see this and comment that Maria might be quite strong, or maybe she's just lucky. I don't know why we keep seeing these spectator chicks, but okay. The last match begins between Misaki and Hikaru versus Deus, Maria, and her angel, Tsubaki. Misaki is surprised to find that she's really scared for some reason at the beginning of this match, and the announcer tells us that both Misaki and Maria have 8 wins and 1 loss each, and are both rookies. That's gonna be relevant later. Misaki is freaking out, and Maria gets annoyed that she doesn't start the match. So, like, she's supposed to throw her doll in, but doesn't, and Maria just, like, fine, I'll throw my doll in. So she goes ahead and throws Tsubaki in, saying her entry lines. Then she yawns and complains about having to do this every single time because she's the realist.
I made a note on that.
Misaki gets it together and throws Hikaru into the lair. An annoyed Maria tells Misaki that if she's feeling bad, she should just go home, and then proclaims that Angelic Layer is her life. In the stands, Tamayo proclaims that Maria must not have any friends because she's really annoying, and her little brother, who's sitting next to her, says, yeah, she really doesn't have any friends. The engineers in the control room comment that Misaki is looking pretty bad, and is probably shaken from her first loss. The match begins, and Misaki gets an immediate flashback to her loss to Hadoko, causing her link to Hikaru to break, and Hikaru just kind of flops limp on the ground. Maria gets angry at this, and Misaki apologizes, which causes Maria to get even more angry that she just apologized. Kotaro helpfully explains that Misaki is scared about Hikaru getting hurt again. Ichan demands hot soba from Ogata, and if he doesn't get it fast, he'll be some kind of punishment. Back in the match, Tsubaki launches an attack on Hikaru, causing Misaki to flinch and makes Hikaru go limp again. Misaki is able to get it together right before impact and gets Hikaru to dodge. Maria's little brother is surprised that Misaki would run away from his sister since she's been so strong up to this point, and I guess he doesn't think his sister's very strong.
I know, no faith.
Tamayo asks what he means, and he says that because she has no friends, she doesn't get to practice much. He goes into their tragic backstory where he was sick all the time as a kid, and Maria couldn't go outside and play with her friends. And then even after he got better, she still stayed inside and just like hung out with her doll and played Angelic Layer because she only bonded with Angelic Layer in the meantime. The match continues, and we cut to a lot of spectators, including a very worried-looking Hadoko, who really wants Misaki to win. Misaki finally gets it together and secures a point. A shaken Maria loudly declares that she'll get through this just like she's gotten through everything herself. The battle continues, and Misaki keeps flinching before Hikaru gets hit. Eventually, she remembers her promise to Hadako to meet up in the Kansai games, so she's able to kind of snap back to normal. Hikaru then gets a sick clothesline on Tsubaki and takes a nice point lead. Then both angels run at each other and punch each other's fists. A recovered Misaki tells Maria that she's not alone anymore because they're playing together. The fight continues as some epic music plays. Eventually, Hikaru is able to land a high kick on Tsubaki, knocking her out of the arena. After the match, Misaki runs up carrying Tsubaki to Maria and tells her that Tsubaki doesn't look hurt. Then Misaki tells Maria that she had a lot of fun playing, and Maria agrees. Ogata returns in time and doesn't get a punishment this episode, so good for him. At the end of the tournament, the 4 deises and angels who qualify for the Kansai Games are announced. The first is Hadako and Suzuka with 10 wins, and the fourth is Misaki and Hikaru with 9 wins, which she got 4th somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't show the other 2.
Weird. While leaving, Maria's little brother tells her that he's thinking about playing Angelic Layer and asks if he can play with her. She ruffles his hair as they walk off. And I guess she doesn't qualify with 8 wins and 2 losses, even though it seems like a pretty impressive record. I don't know. Afterward, Misaki finds Ichan and thanks him for repairing Hikaru. She also tells him she looks forward to the future games. Then we cut to a facility where Shoko gets a report about the qualifiers of the Tokyo Games, and she reads the names and reacts with concern when she gets to Misaki's name as we cut to credits.
Are you sure it's concern or like, ugh, God, I forgot about that child of mine. Ugh, what thanks for reminding me.
And, looks down.
Disturbed.
She looks disturbed. There's more of this next episode.
I have something important to say. I remember the name of the show I was talking about earlier.
Okay.
It's like Shogun, kind of.
Yeah.
It's called Kingdom, and it's a South Korean show. But yeah, Kingdom on Netflix blends political thriller and elements from zombie horror. I was right. God damn it, I was right. I just couldn't remember the name because I've never watched it, but I just knew it. Yeah. That's important that I got that out there.
Great. I'm happy for you.
I can sleep at night now.
What did you think about episode 7?
Parents just suck in Angelic Layer, I guess.
Dude,
that's my first note.
I can't believe Maria's parents made her grow up. She was like 5 in that flashback. That's so sad. The exact thing her mom says is like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're like the responsible little girl we were hoping for." Like, Jesus Christ,
so glad you're
lady.
A parent for your brother because I don't want to be.
Oh my God, she looks so sad when she's like, "Oh, I can't play with my friends because I have to be responsible."
I feel like this is a thing I've seen in anime before. Like, there's parents, you're working all the time so much you can't raise your kids. Surely you could afford maybe like a healthcare person to watch after your child instead of another child if he has health issues.
As we all know, boys get to be boys, but little girls have to grow up as soon as there is a problem. They have to be an adult now.
Ugh. Golly, that would suck so much. Oh, and then when it goes to Ichan fixing Misaki's doll, and then, the typical, her friends come and then he's gone. I made a note that what made me think Ichan is just some imaginary friend that Misaki made up. Because they ever talk about him but never see him or been introduced to him.
Maybe Ichan is just Kotaro and Tamayo stacked on each other's shoulder in a lab coat.
We never see them on the same.
Because they're never there at the same time. Yeah, I do have a note that, like, at this point, the show is pretty much just, like, stopped trying to play Ichan as, like, a creepy guy, and he's just, like, a guy who is around and is, like, mostly just helpful at this point.
Mm-hmm. When they cut to the classroom, or no, where is it? No, never mind, before the classroom. Sorry, nope, that's the next episode. My bad.
Okay.
I meant right after that, when Tamayo, like, grabs Misaki and chokes her out just like she does Kotaro normally. I was like, is this the first time we're seeing her bust a move on Misaki, her frail little friend, in a headlock?
Tamayo is into choking people out. She's into headlocks. She likes to celebrate hard by ringing
violence.
Everybody out.
Yeah, I like when the Marie. She's so obsessed with her namesake, for starters. Like, girl,
dude, it's so funny.
Why?
There's a line before she throws the doll into the thing. She's like looking at her doll before the match starts, and she's basically like, my parents named me Maria because their taste in names is shit. My taste in names is fantastic. My doll's name's Tsubaki. It's so funny.
Is a cool name, though.
It is, but it's just like,
sweet.
God, I have this dumb name because my parents are idiots. I named my doll a cool thing.
I mean, yeah, she's very fixated on that for some reason.
It's because her parents suck. I get it. She also trips that guy. That's great, dude.
Yes, I
Maria
know. I was
rules.
like, yes, some people would say, oh, you gotta hold yourself to a better standard than those, but I'd be like, no, I'm gonna get even. Like her,
it's great.
I love it.
Dude, Maria's so funny this whole episode. When, like, she throws her doll in the arena, and then they both yawn. Like, she makes her doll yawn, and she yawns, and the crowd's all like, oh, because she's, like, the heel in this match.
Yeah, I just learned what that is, actually. I'm listening to this podcast about the 90s, and one of them was about wrestling, and I learned what the heel, that's like the villain role of wrestling or something. I know what that means now. Go me.
It's just so funny because she's like, I can't believe they make me say this shit every time I start a match.
Yeah, well she said it's so boring. I'm like, yes, that's how I feel about the magical girl transformations that we typically see. Like, come on, we've seen this before. Like, let's get to it.
See, I think they're good. I just think it's funny for a character to acknowledge that they have to keep saying. They've had to say this 10 times today because she played 10 matches.
Yes, I mean, we haven't seen
good.
other people utilize their doll expressions like that much.
That's true. That's pretty good. Oh, when her little brother is like, yeah, she doesn't have any friends. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Just like out of nowhere, he's just sitting next to Tamayo and he's like, yeah, that's my sister. She doesn't have any friends, actually.
I wonder if that's how my sister talks about me.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I know. He has like so little faith in his sister. Like, she sucks. Why is she somehow winning this fight right now? And she has no friends and she doesn't practice.
Well, it's just funny because like he's the only one who clocks it correctly, right? Where people are like, oh, like she's really like assertive. Maybe she's like really good at Angelic Layer. And he's just like, nah, she's just like that. And I mean, like she's kind of good, but like she's not going to beat Misaki. Let's be real.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll probably, I don't remember, but almost certainly never see her again. But we got her whole freaking life story.
No! We need to see her again. She needs to be part of the cast. She's great.
Oh, gosh. No, I don't think so. Okay, so I was like, oh, thank you. Like, I normally am not into flashbacks, but I will happily see a flashback of Rolling Thunder again and
Oh my god.
It's so cool.
The fact that Misaki gets trauma from like
from
getting
her
owned
friend.
so hard by Hatoko. And then Hatoko like later is in the crowd being like, oh shit, I hope I didn't give her trauma. Like, you absolutely did.
Yes, I'm sure that's the case for everyone who's ever lost to her. She's just wrecking dreams.
I'm assuming the other loss that Maria has is also to Hatoko.
Oh, that's well, I feel like they would have commented on it like they do in the next episode. So, yeah, Misaki, being lame, embarrassing, mortifying. Like, girl, you've been winning and yet you still act like a total newbie letting your doll drop.
Through it. This is her first loss.
And freaking, they should be booing her in the crowd.
Oh my god, you're so mean. This is her first loss. She started playing this game like a month ago.
I know, but she's like a prodigy, apparently, because she's winning all the time, except for Hatoko, but like still amateur hour. And this girl isn't even that good, and
she loves Hikaru and doesn't want her to get hurt, okay?
She's a doll.
But this, not to Misaki, that's the whole thing. We're going to learn next episode that that's actually important, I guess.
Yeah,
that you personify your doll real hard.
Yeah, no, I think they should have been booing her. There's only positive, like, yeah, even when their angels do something lame.
That's because Maria's the heel. You got to cheer for the hero. Yeah, cheer for the heel. Come on.
And then, okay, so the punishment this episode is that Ogata has to go get...
well, that's the task. There's no punishment because he does it in time.
Yes, but that lady is like, shucks. She wished she
Dude, his coworker is so into Ichan bullying Ogata. Like it's Ichan and like this woman coworker we've seen a couple times. I don't know. She has a name tag on, but it's all kanji, so I can't read it.
No. Well, what do you mean? You took Japanese? Like 10 years ago?
Name kanji. It's like phonetic. Like you have to pronounce the kanji and it forms the name, but sometimes they have different You basically just have to remember people's names.
So that's why there's always like little plot points of like, oh, I thought your name meant this, but it's that because
yeah. So a lot of times in anime, like characters will introduce themselves. They're like, oh, my name is this. You spell it with this and this character because you can have the same name be spelled with different characters.
Yeah, I guess that's the same thing with Maria. Like Japanese people, I seem to put meaning into names. Like, oh, you name your kids, I don't know, Sakura because you want her to bloom like a flower or some shit like that.
I don't know how much the actual meaning goes into it, but they do name people after stuff in a way that that are just other words in a way that I feel like we do sometimes, but not with everything.
When we were watching all the openings and everybody was named after a fruit. Ichigo and Mikan and
we're about to run into a fruit next
pudding
episode.
And lettuce, yeah. But I looked it up because I was like, what? He just ate the noodles. Why does he want water from the noodles afterwards? But so I looked it up and it says soba yu is the water left behind from cooking soba noodles. The noodles are boiled in. It is served towards the end of a meal after one is finished eating. So I guess it's like customary to drink the water because I think is it soba, it's just the noodles by themselves. They're not like, it's not like ramen where it's steeped in.
I think so.
What it was boiled in, but it's weird that they follow up with drinking the water. And then did he make the food for himself? Like, shouldn't he have just gotten that water after he finished making it and not make Ogata just randomly go find water that noodles are boiled in?
I don't know.
Aren't the ones he was eating?
I don't know. I have a note here that says Maria's just like Sarah, comma, always at home.
Yeah, I identify with her a lot. Being petty and stubborn, I very much relate to that. So they show her getting into Angelic Layer as a kid, and she's probably at like 16 at least. How long has Angelic Layer been a thing? I mean, obviously it had to be around long enough to get the momentum to have a tournament on the scale. But like, how long has that been a thing, I wonder?
I don't know.
And then let's see.
My notes start after they announced the winners. Okay,
so the two chicks that you were like, I don't understand why they keep panning to these two broads just commenting in the sidelines. But the girl with glasses, she's like, don't you think that Misaki Suzahara is interesting? And I was like, no, she's not really that interesting, actually. I don't think so. And then the chick next to her is like, ooh, whatever. Her name is Sai, and she's just stone cold. She's so cool.
Yeah, like, I know that we're foreshadowing these characters because they're going to show up later, but like, they've already showed up and now they just keep showing up again. So it's like, remember these guys, but they don't have anything else to say. They're just like, that person seems strong. What about that person? I don't know. They're just like, we're cutting to the peanut gallery for no reason.
And then as they keep fighting, and Tsubaki has like the same move. All she does is like the kick.
Oh yeah, she's not very good.
And that seems to be it. Like, there's no variety in attacks. I also noted, because we see the camera pans to Hatoko a few times. Why is she sitting alone? Her brother is there watching the same person. Why isn't she sitting with her brother?
Okay, she also...
Just a 5-year-old surrounded by strangers.
When she introduced Kotaru, or like, she's like, oh yeah, this guy, I guess, is technically my brother. Like, I don't think they hang out.
But...
Like, I think Haruka is just like this.
I mean,
Oh, you hate this? The sibling bond is not super strong. What's going on?
No, I mean,
Are you languishing about this?
It's just, she's 5! Stranger danger
Dude, she's like
everywhere!
a VIP. People are like asking for her autograph. She's like, she owns this place. This
National
is
treasure.
This is her tournament. Yeah. No one's gonna do anything to her. She's Haruko. She's the #1 seed.
My last note is that for a 10-minute match, we sure can see a lot of character development and life-changing attitude within that short a period of time.
Yeah, it's good. Misaki wins because she starts having a good time playing, and then she's like smiling, and Hikaru's smiling. They're like, yeah, we're playing Angelic Layer. This is a game. I don't need to worry about getting hurt. We're having fun here. And then Maria starts having fun.
Maybe it's because it's your first time watching it that you're more genuinely like following it as it was intended. Maybe it's because I've seen it a bunch. I'm just like, oh, Misaki, you're so lame. And
why do you think she's lame?
Because
she's having fun. She's having a good time. We're having a good time here.
Well, she wasn't. I guess I prefer cool protagonists. Like, some people like
You just hate children.
That too. Some people like the underdog character. Like, my sister loves Naruto. I was like, Naruto, the character is kind of lame. Like,
because he's loud and obnoxious.
Shikamaru is the coolest. Yeah, I prefer like the cool collective.
They can't be the main character because that wouldn't be very good.
I guess. I mean, but Bleach, that's like a show where the protagonist is cool from the beginning.
Ichigo?
Yeah.
Is he cool?
Yeah.
He's like stoic.
Mm-hmm.
I like him, but like, I don't know if
he's not lame.
He doesn't really have a lot going on.
Like Misaki and Naruto.
Misaki's cool. Whatever.
She's fine. She's fine. She's just I don't hate her. She's just the vehicle for us to experience Angelic Layer through. I guess.
Yeah. Well, this is the plot. She's the plot. This is about her. We like Misaki.
No, this is about badass dolls fighting.
I feel like I'm the shoujo enjoyer here, and you're the shonen enjoyer. Like, what's happening?
I'm just like bitter and
you're supposed to be internet. Is this going to be everything we watch? Is like, I hate it when they talk about their feelings and experience life.
I probably haven't watched this in over 10 years. I'm just a critical person, I guess.
You just
like, it doesn't mean I don't enjoy the show.
I'm
trying to think. I guess most anime I watch, the protagonist typically isn't my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's not unusual.
Okay, well, that's all I had for episode 7.
Okay, Maria doesn't advance with an 8-2 record. What is going on? Like, is everybody not playing everybody else? Because Haruko sweeps, right? She gets 10 out of 10, which means obviously she qualifies. But Misaki gets 4th with 9-1, which means that like other people must have gotten 9-1
Maybe
also.
they
but that doesn't
finished
make
in
sense.
a quicker time or something. Like they had more time on the clock before. When they hit the...
But that means they must have not played Haruko, like those people. Or I guess they all lost to her? But then how could Misaki only lose one match? They must not all play each other.
Maybe not.
But weird. Okay.
I don't know. Sports, man. I don't get it.
Also, at the very end, like, Shoko didn't tell Shuko that Misaki's playing Angelic Layer. Shuko learns for the first time that her daughter is playing the game.
Interested.
God. Shuko sucks.
Team Shoko all the way.
Yeah, Shoko owns. Get into episode 8.
Let's do it.
Angelic Layer episode 8 is called Misaki versus Misaki, the dangerous classmate. We open at school. All of Misaki's classmates are impressed that she placed at the tournament. The bullies from a few episodes ago sheepishly ask if they can cheer for her, and Misaki says yes. Everyone's having a great time cheering Misaki on in the worst cheer Tamako has come up with yet. Eventually, an angry boy slams his desk and tells them all to stop chanting Misaki's name. Tamayo asks what his deal is and realizes his name is Ryo Misaki. So that means that his last name is the same as Misaki's first name, and like in Japan you usually call people by their last names unless you're like really close with them, and then you'll call them first name. So they're cheering his last name basically. Ryo says that a rookie like Misaki, if a rookie like Misaki can place at a tournament first try, then Angelic Layer must not be that great of a game. Then he says that because it's a fighting game, boys can always beat girls, so this is all a moot point. Tamayo is about to throw hands, but it's stopped by Misaki.
I know that weakling was able to hold that brute strength gal down. I don't believe it.
That's because Tamayo was like, hold me back. Walking home, Misaki talks about how she used to play games with boys, but could never beat them. The other girls talk about how annoying boys are, and that they all like it when Misaki wins because it shows that girls are good at games too. Misaki says that she can't beat boys though, which is weird because there were definitely some guy deuses at that tournament she just won, but whatever. Then they all go to a new Angelic Layer store that opened up. Nearby, Kotaro is at an idol meet event because his friend asked him to go with him. The idol's name is Ringo Seto. Tamayo tells Kotaro that he better choose between Ringo Seto and Misaki, and both Misaki and Kotaro blush about it as Tamayo drags him off, so they run into him, basically. In the Angelic Layer store, we see Ryo and those bullies that tried to steal Misaki's table in episode 3, because all of the bullies are making a cameo. Misaki wonders if Hikaru would look good in an apron, which she wouldn't. What are you...
No, not cool. Lame.
Yeah, it's not a good outfit for her. Ryo runs into them, and Tamayo jokes that it's pretty weird that Ryo would play Angelic Layer, which is a girl's game, I guess, but then Misaki remembers Ojiro and says that it's actually not weird for guys to play Angelic Layer. And I have a note here that's like, is this like a gendered game? Like, what is going on? Anyway, we cut away to Ojiro and Shuko at the Angelic Layer testing facility. Apparently they're friendly. They enter the testing facility, and Shuko tells Ichan that if she can defeat Ojiro in like their test match, he'll explain why Misaki is qualified for the Kansai games. Ichan is caught off guard and yells at Ogata for letting Shuko see the entry list. As a penalty, he makes him wear a monkey suit. We cut back to the store where Haruko joins the crew. Haruko recognizes Ryu from the tournament, where he lost almost immediately. He gets embarrassed and loudly declares that in a fair game, girls cannot beat boys. Everyone tells him that's dumb, so he challenges Misaki to a match. Back at the idol meet, we learn that Ringo is missing and is totally at the Angelic Layer store instead. We see Ringo carrying a bunch of stuff around as she stumbles onto Misaki's match. Ryo announces that it's a best of 3 and picks from a suitcase of 3 angels he has. The first up is like a robot man from like Power Rangers named Ace.
Angel Ace. Super cool.
And he also starts announcing like he's the announcer. The match starts, but Misaki isn't paying attention, and Ace just rams Hikaru out of the ring immediately, winning the first game. It's pretty embarrassing. Before the next match, Ryo tosses Misaki body armor for Hikaru and tells her that it'll help protect Hikaru in the next match. This is like a flak jacket, like a vest.
It's like a weight
really
jacket.
Weird. We cut to Ojiro and Shuko having a match, and Shuko's Angels, who isn't Athena, but is like an older model, while Ojiro is using the newest Angel model. However, Shuko is just running circles around Ojiro. We cut back to the second match of Misaki versus Misaki. Hikaru was wearing the jacket, but is moving really awkwardly. Misaki wins after time by having more points, but is disappointed in her performance, and she takes a walk. We cut back to the fight between Ojiro and Shuko's Angel is winning handedly. Shuko asks Ojiro if he ever named his dolls when he was younger, in which he says no. In the bathroom, Misaki splashes water on her face and tries to get out of her funk when Ringo walks in and asks her if she sings. Then she starts singing, and Misaki joins in what is probably the most bizarre scene in this show to date. Ringo then tells her that she should shine on stage with her angel, like she does when she's on stage. Then Ringo remembers that she's supposed to be doing a concert right now and leaves. Then we get a voiceover from Shuko explaining that every girl names her precious dolls when she's little because they're friends, and then talks about how girls bond with them and your synchronization in Angelic Layer is a reflection of your love for them. Then it cuts to like all of the girls in the store like in a line watching Misaki's match. It's very odd. Match 3 begins and Ryo sends out an angel named Try who has a drill for an arm. Before the match, Misaki takes off Hikaru's awful body armor and gives it back to Ryo. Seeing Misaki back in her old self, Haruko decides that Misaki is definitely going to win, and she leaves because she's like, well, this match is good as done. We then get a voiceover as the match starts from Ojiro, saying that now he gets why girls are so very strong, because they're friends with their angels. And Shuko says that's why she loves Angelic Layer. Hikaru is running circles around Try, dancing around and dodging everything. Misaki says that even though boys have more natural strength, Hikaru won't lose. Hikaru grabs Try and swings him around until she eventually throws him out of the lair. Misaki wins and shakes hands with Ryo. The bullies from episode 4 congratulate Misaki. A frustrated Ryo runs into Ichan, who tells him that he's not good enough yet. And Ryo is about to tell him to say that to his face, but he recognizes Ichan and tells him that he's a lifetime admirer. Ichan tells him that he needs to actually name his angels and not just think about them as tools. Then we cut to everyone at the Ringo concert having a good time. Back at school, Tamayo tells Kitaru that she won't hand Misaki to such a ladies' man, which kind of just comes out of nowhere. And then Ryu enters wearing a lab coat like Ichan. He shows everybody a new doll that he made named Misaki-chi and is confused when everybody starts laughing as we cut to credits.
Yeah, it was a different feeling episode for sure, right?
Yeah.
I bet Ryu's your favorite character now, right?
No, Ryu's an idiot.
Yes. Let's see. Okay, there's a part where, well, first off, yes, that shitty ass cheer by Tomoyo.
Dude, but like, okay, the thing is, this premise of this episode is so funny to me because it's basically just about this guy who like went to this Angelic Layer tournament, got owned immediately, and then like his classmate won, and everybody is chanting his name because he has the same name as her, and it makes him angry. It's like such a funny premise.
A few episodes, or I think our last episode, there's these girls in class who were like, "Ooh, you only won because of luck or something" to Misaki. You know, that Tomoyo like chewed them out or whatever. But now they're meekly like, "Oh, can we cheer for you too?" Misaki's just immediately like, "Yeah."
We get all the former bullies coming around this episode being like, "Oh, we're such good friends now. Remember when I was a jerk to you not that long ago? Sorry."
Yeah, I feel like if that was me, I would just shamefully disappear into the background. Like, I would not be like, "JK, I want to be your friend now."
You gotta own it. See, this is why we like Misaki's, because she's like, "Oh, it's cool. Like, I get it, you know."
I'm a grudge holder, so I'd be like, ugh.
I would be out of this show. I would not be trying to make a comeback.
I would never come back again after my bully episode.
I also have a note here that it's extremely funny when Ryu is first like trash talking in retrospect on the rewatch, because we later learned that that Haruko probably stomped him immediately.
Yeah.
Where he's like, Angelic Layer is a game for girls. It sucks. And then like knowing that he got owned by a 5-year-old.
Okay, so basically, Angelic Layer does seem to be a female-dominated sport, most likely because they're based off dolls, which has been, typically, historically, a more feminine toy. So I think that's why there's more females than males.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird, because on one hand, when they go to the store, Misaki comments like, "Oh, there's a lot of people who play Angelic Layer," and Kotaro's like, "Yeah, I mean, most of them don't actually, like, play in tournaments. They mostly just, like, hang around for fun."
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of the merchandise is like clothes and stuff, like customization things. Mm-hmm. But all of Ryo's dolls are like very like boy coded. It's like a big mech guy and a guy with a drill arm. So it seems like they make stuff for like boys also, like,
Yeah,
with that kind of thing in mind.
I don't think they're marketing it towards girls only. I think it's that girls are more drawn to it. But
right.
I mean, why would you look at those clothes? You already have like a custom made outfit for Hikaru. Like, I would not want to be caught wearing the same outfit as another angel. Like, I would never want to buy clothes from the store, because then there's just going to be a bunch of them wearing that,
I mean, I think it's like if you want to do little like photo shoots or something in different outfits. I mean, that's fun.
True.
They probably do that for like I bet there's like an Angelic Layer magazine that they like publish.
Mm-hmm. Or in the day when there's social media and you just have them all in different outfits that.
You get the engagement.
Yes. I put a note that is Rio like one of the dudes Joe is referring to in esports.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the thing about, like, it's immediately obvious that Ryo is just, like, compensating for the fact that he lost immediately and feels like an idiot for being bad at this game. Like, it's kind of this thing where it's like, yeah, this episode on its face is really about, like, oh, boys think they're better than girls, but they aren't actually. But, like, at no point does the show ever take that seriously. Like, Ryo's the only one who says this. Everybody else thinks he's an idiot, inclung, like, Kataro and Ichan and, like, everybody else. Like, it's never really taken seriously that this would ever be true. Although I do have a note. I have a note that when he's trash talking at the very beginning, Tamiyo's example of girls beating boys is that she constantly beats up Kataro.
Yeah,
he takes like 1,000 L's this episode.
Yeah, he's man, self-esteem's gotta be through the floor. I like the part where they're walking home and they're just all shit talking boys, like, oh, they're so brutal and savage and
oh yeah, they're all like aggressive and loud.
Yeah.
They're like, this is why we like it when you win, Misaki, because then it's like girls can win stuff too. And I'm like, oh, that's fun.
And then when they get to the part with the idol, I'm like, I guess I don't know, in my mind I just assumed that idols, if it was like a sole female one, it would just be like girls are more into her, like with Britney Spears or something. But I guess there it's like boys are into idols. Because there's like all dudes lining. I don't know. It's weird.
Dude, Kataro gets caught in the crossfire again. Because like he's going to this event and it seems like he's just like a casual fan, but his friend's like, dude, they're going to give out collectible cards and it's one per person. So if you come, I can have two. And he's like, yeah, all right. But then Misaki and Tamiyo run into him and Tamiyo's like, oh, you're really into this idol, huh? Who you gonna pick? This idol or Misaki? And he's like, what? I'm just here because my friend asked me to be here.
He does not do a good well of defending himself.
Oh yeah, she like drags him off and his friend's like, but my extra card, oh no.
Ryo must be rich because he's like buying all the shit at Piffle Princess.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
he's got three
and 3 angels!
He's got 3 angels that he takes out of like a briefcase that's like form fitted to their shapes. It's so funny.
And yes, I was like, is that drill allowed or is that another? That doesn't seem legal.
Yes,
like
his angel has a drill, but it doesn't spin. It's just like a pointy hand. Like it's just cosmetic. It doesn't do anything. Stupid. It's really funny. It is such
a typical, like, I'm gonna make a cool looking guy. He's gonna he does make cool.
See, this is the thing that's like, they're like, oh, you just treat your angels like tools, but he is customizing them. He just gives them dumb names. Like, it's not like he isn't participating correctly.
Because I guess there's parallels between Misaki and Ryo, and then her mom versus Ojiro, and like the boy being like, I'm here in it for the fight, and the girls all being like, feelings, and I love my doll and stuff. And that's why they do better, because they love their angels.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with Ojiro, because it seems like he would also have a connection to Wizard, a doll he made with like a custom outfit named Wizard, but I guess he doesn't. He's like, oh, I never thought about like loving my doll. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It seems like you probably do. Like, what is happening? Like, I know we're doing this like weird gendered thing, but like, does it? Because like clearly Ichan doesn't fall into that category.
He's the maker of it, and I don't think he actually does it. But I mean, we don't yet know the origin of Angelic Layer's conception.
Well, we do get that doll that Shuko is using in the match is the first doll that Ichan made.
So, and she said made for me. So it's clear that like she was there from the beginning, kind of being the first operator of an angel.
Is Ichan actually going to be her dad? No, there's no way, right?
Oh boy. Well, she
that would
look
be terrible.
Like either of her parents in that case. She's got blue eyes and like orangish brown hair.
How does Shuko not know that Misaki even plays Angelic Layer? How does she not know any of this?
She's a shitty mom.
Yeah, she's pretty bad. And then she's like, oh, well, if I win, you got to explain to me why my daughter is qualifying for this tournament, Ichan. And I'm like, dude, if you ever like talk to your daughter ever, you wouldn't have this problem.
Yes. Well, and because she's the reigning champion, right? So in theory, if Misaki does well enough, she would encounter her at the Kansai games. So that's why she's pissed, because she doesn't like her daughter. And she's like, great, now I might have to face off with her.
I don't think that's going to be the reveal, but that would be very funny if it was.
Man. Singing, stupid bathroom scene.
Ringo Owens. Hold on, I love Ringo.
No, I hate her hair. And her skirt
Ringo's like an insane
volume
person.
Is insane, and the bucket hat does not match her outfit.
She's incognito. It's not supposed to be a good outfit.
It's unbelievable.
So Ringo is she's blonde and she's wearing this big.
It's almost like the whalebone skirts they used to put on people, where it's round and flares out and kind of cuts off mid calf, and then like little bloomer shorts under that, and big old pigtails, and
she's got pigtails. But her incognito disguise is just wearing sunglasses and a bucket hat. It's very funny. And during so they meet up in the bathroom. She just starts singing like a freak. It's very funny because this scene only makes sense if you know that she is an idol.
Yeah.
Which at the end, she's they sing together, and then she's like, "Oh, you should shine on stage just like I do." And then she takes off her sunglasses as if she's expecting Misaki to recognize her, and Misaki doesn't.
Nope.
It's very funny.
Yes.
She takes off her sunglasses and spins around and reveal. She does the dramatic reveal. It was me the whole time, and Misaki's just like, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's good advice." She doesn't know who she is.
No, she's from Wakayama or whatever. She doesn't know anything.
It's just very funny. But then she goes to the concert at the end of it, and I'm like, are you going to say to anybody that you met this chick in the bathroom? Yeah. Do you recognize this? What's happening?
Maybe. I put Hotoko, it's was that? Cool guys don't look at explosions. But she knows Misaki's going to win, so she doesn't even bother watching to the end. She keeps doing that!
We're the same person. I had that exact same note with the exact same reference. This keeps happening. All of her mentor figures, like Hatoko and Ichan, are never there for her victory. They're always watching from the shadows, or they hear about it later, and then they never celebrate with her and her friends when it happens. It's always later on they come back and they're like, "Good job." Did
you really make the same note reference?
Yeah, I did. I literally thought this. I'm like, oh, she's doing the cool guys don't look at explosions because she's like, oh, this match is over. I'm walking out.
Oh my god, yeah. That's funny.
You're already dead. Bye.
My last note is that, so Ojiro with her mom at the end kind of gets all blushy, and when she thinks of boys playing Angelic Layer, Misaki thinks of him and gets all blushy. So I'm like, is she in a love triangle with her mom?
Oh, shut up. No way. This is the worst thing I've ever heard. No, it's not happening.
It is.
God,
it's a love triangle.
It is weird, though. It's fucked up that Ojiro is on a first name basis with Misaki's mom.
Yep.
And Misaki,
I know, she'll spend time with him, but not her own kid.
She'll spend time with him. Misaki doesn't even remember what her mom looks like.
Oh, man.
This is brutal.
I know. Parents just suck in Angelic Layer. That's what we're learning. Nobody has a good parent. We've never seen any other parents. Oh, man.
I bet Tamiya has normal parents.
Maybe. I feel like they just run a karate dojo or something.
We should have an episode they go to Tamiyo's house and they're just hanging out.
So I guess, because we see a lot of people from, one, we see Maria and she has her whole little character moment. But essentially, each person that goes against Misaki learns to be better people after playing one match of Angelic Layer with her.
Yeah.
She's changing lives. The bully chick from the other episode, she's reformed and going about things the official way, not cheating. And
we're in the rehabilitation arc of the show, the episodic part where it's just now you're gonna face a bunch of people and we're gonna learn a little lesson about Angelic Layer and how to be a cool dude and just be a chill person, and we're all gonna hang out and be friends. That's good. That's fun.
Yeah, Full House lesson to learn at the end of every episode. Oh, okay. The part where she's saying, "Oh, every girl names her doll." I'm like, not that I didn't really play with dolls. I mostly put bugs in my doll houses, but they all have names. Barbie has a name. Freaking all the Bratz dolls have names. They don't give you, by default, they all have names. So I don't think
this part was extremely goofy to me, where it's actually, gender's super important here for this game that is explicitly genderless. I'm like, what's happening here? I get what they're going, where it's you want to bond with your doll, and little girls are good at bonding with their dolls because that's normally what they do anyway.
Have emotions, and boys are just
because boys they're just loud,
cold.
Don't do anything. It was ridiculous. I'm looking forward to seeing more Ringo. I look in the episode thing and we definitely get more of her.
She's next. It goes up from here with kick-ass angels, so I'm excited for next time. I guess that's was our coverage of episode 8.
Hopefully we see Maria again. I'm gonna be on the Maria lookout.
I highly doubt it.
I'll be on the Maria lookout.
Almost certain. I mean, we got callbacks to people we never thought we'd see again, so I guess it's a possibility.
Every bully made a freaking cameo in this episode.
Okay. I guess, do you want to go through
recommendations?
Yeah.
For other stuff, other things to watch. Don't watch Avatar live action.
Watch Avatar the original series.
Watch Avatar the original series. No, that's too low hanging fruit. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you have for us?
Okay, so
what would you recommend?
I didn't think about anything until doing this, and I was like, oh right, I don't have. I gotta think of something.
Wow.
I listen to I voraciously consume podcasts. Like, no matter what I'm doing, I'm listening to a podcast. I'm gaming, I'm listening to podcasts. I'm cleaning, podcast, shower, podcast, driving, falling asleep. I'm listening to something constantly. So I go through them really quickly, and then I have to find new ones. And the newest one I found is called History of the 90s. And just covers like kind of big topics for each episode, like the release of The Lion King and girl power, like from Riot Girls to Spice Girls, and the OJ trial and the movie Scream and Beanie Babies and all that. So it's cool because I was technically alive for most of this, but I was a dumb kid, so I didn't get to appreciate the cool things happening in the 90s that were going on around me. So it's got a lot of episodes, which makes me very happy that it won't be over anytime soon. But yeah, so now I know a bunch of cool stuff about things. Like Will Smith was originally going to be, or they wanted him as Neo in the Matrix, but Will Smith turned it down, and all these cool little tidbits of information. And Drew Barrymore was going to be the protagonist of Scream, but she's like, no, I think I want to be the chick who dies in the beginning. Yeah, so if you're into that kind of history, but cultural history, I highly recommend the podcast, The History of the 90s. How about you, Joe? What do you got?
I've been playing video games lately. I've been gaming.
Yeah, KOTOR. Oh my god, let's talk about KOTOR.
We cannot talk about KOTOR right now.
Why not?
We can. Okay. We can record another one after this. That could be like a bonus.
Okay.
We've been going for so long in this episode.
Oh god, it's one of my favorite. It's one of the best video games ever. Ah!
I think we should record a little segment after this. We can always add it in later if you want.
Hell yeah, man.
Cool. But what I'm going to recommend is a game that I've completed, because I've not completed KOTOR yet. I'm going to recommend a game I just replayed for the first time in a long time, which is Ghost Trick Phantom Detective.
Never heard of that
This
in
is a
my
game
life.
that originally came out. You've never heard of this?
No, I've never heard of this.
Oh, it's so cute. This is a game that came out on originally like the DS, I think. And it's a puzzle game where you play as a guy who has just died under circumstances you don't remember, because you lose your memory when you die. And you become a ghost. And as a ghost, you get 24 hours to inhabit the living world, and you can manipulate objects to help solve a case. And you try to solve the case of your own death. There's just like a lot of really fun stuff going on. There's like a colorful cast of characters. It's very like cartoony. Your guy has like an amazing, ridiculous haircut. And like the puzzles are really fun. I mean, they're not that difficult. There's a lot of like dialogue that's really interesting and kind of fun. And there's like some twists and turns, and there's a colorful cast of characters. And it's really just like generally a good time. It's not that long of a game. I think it takes like 10 hours or so to beat. But a solid puzzle game, gets in, gets out, does like some cool.
Replay it on a original copy you have, or do you find an emulator, or is it?
So I originally played this on iPhone in like 2014. But they did a remaster that they released. It's on Steam. It's on Switch. It's on like everything now.
What's it called again? It's
called Ghost Trick.
Oh, never mind. Just kidding. Not
Ghost Trick Phantom Detective.
So is this a series,
it's really
or is this the only entry? Ghost Trick?
No, it's just a one time.
Okay. Got overwhelmingly positive reviews.
Yep, this is a well-liked game. I mean, it got a remaster, so it's the writing and design were the same guy who did Ace Attorney.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought that's what came to mind when you mentioned it. Yeah, it's got a very like bold, distinct art style. Yeah, this looks cool.
So if you like Ace Attorney plots, but you want like a puzzle gameplay, check this out.
Check it out. Yeah. Cool. I think we have 2 more reviews on Apple.
Yes. But please, if you enjoy the show, please rate it 5 stars on your on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. If you're on Spotify, you can participate in the polls.
Yes, we do polls and questions. So maybe this episode will be something about bad parents. Like, do you believe any parents are good in Angelic Layer?
Oh my god, yeah, okay. Oh yeah, Angelic Layer, okay.
Something like related to the, yeah.
Yeah, so we have, and if you leave on Apple Podcasts, you can leave a comment. If you leave a comment, I will read it off live if it's 5 stars. So I'm going to go ahead and read off the next most recent one we have. This is from Tracy7823-1. What?
Oh, I was going to say, we have 3 new ones to go over
We have
today.
3 new ones, but I'll just read one off each time, so it's going to seem like we get more comments as we go along,
I was like...
what I'm saying? Yes. Tracy says, love this duo. What fun conversations. Highly entertaining and informative. This podcast is a blast. Thank you. I'm pretty sure that is my aunt.
I was gonna say, for once, it's not someone I know.
Yeah, that's a family member who is not my parents, but thank you.
Yay, Aunt Tracy. Also,
we love it.
I think follow us on
ants.
Instagram too. So huzzah!
We love ants. Aunt Shoujo is the best.
That's right.
We love ants on Angelic Layer, and we hate parents.
Yeah, that's right. Terrible parents. Freaking crushing.
We love this. If you want something read out on our podcast, leave it as a comment, and maybe I'll read it. Pretty high likelihood if I'll read it if nobody else is leaving comments. So
get in while it's still barren, and you can stand out.
Do we have the email address?
Yeah. It's Shoujo, just the way we spell the name. pod@gmail.com.
Okay. At the end of this show, we'll probably do we could do a Q&A if anybody has any questions. If you have questions or things you want to send us about Angelic Layer, go ahead and send emails to that email address, which is shoujopod@gmail.com. Is that right?
Yep. So,
if you want to send stuff in at any point during this run, we'll probably compile all those in our second to last episode. So, feel free to do that.
Cool. So this is our 4th episode? I'm getting impatient. I'm we still have so many more Angelic Layer, but I already want to cover so many more series. Oh, so excited. Well, I'm excited.
Yeah, this is good.
Thanks for tuning in once again, and still don't have a sign off.
Yeah, just remember that girls are strong because they experience love, and boys are strong physically only. Muscles only. They treat everything else like tools for their advancement. It's great. We love that. We love talking about gender roles in this way. Isn't that fun?
A blast.
Unbelievable. I'm different. I love dolls.
Yes. I
love Angelic Layer. I don't hate our protagonist. I think she's cool.
Oh, right. I'm the only.
Maybe one of us doesn't feel that way.
You can identify with one of us. That way it's not, I'm bringing a different perspective.
Bringing the negativity to Shoujo. Shoujo podcast.
That's us. That should be the tagline. Dumping on protagonist Misaki.
Dumping on the protagonist.
Yeah.
They're going to think that I'm doing that because I'm the guy, but it's actually you.
I know. Look at us freaking. Yeah. Keeping you on your toes. God, watch one day. It's going to be I absolutely adore a character and you rip them to shreds or something.
I'm sure we will get to a series where I am not feeling the protagonist.
Probably. Yeah. Well, that's because I was so generous in giving you this shoujo-ish transitional series. Once they're full-blown girly girl stuff, it's on.
It's on. Okay. But until then, we'll see you later.
Until then, check out those recommendations. Make sure you're watching Angelic Layer, which you can find on YouTube. And we'll see you next week for episodes 9 and 10.
Yep. Believe in yourself in Hikaru. Is that a bad sign off? Believe in yourself in Hikaru. It doesn't. I just said it that one time, and I'm like, that's good for Angelic Layer.
Cheesy!
That's good. What do you mean cheesy? We just
Here's
talked
hoping your parents love you, unlike all these numbers.
Here's hoping your parents love you.
Your life could be worse.
Your life could be worse. Here's hoping your parents don't abandon you to raise your brother by yourself.
Golly, that's so not. I would have been like, okay, peace, I'm out.